Jesup School proudly supports and practices good sportsmanship. By supporting your team, respecting the abilities of the opposition, and decisions of the officials, you can create an environment that is reflective of the community. Be a class act, be a good sport, be a winner in the game of sportsmanship. Please welcome tonight's game officials: Ted Supple, Joe Loria, Jerry Beeler, Blair Kleinfelter, Eric Casebold. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as our high school marching band honors our nation and flag while paying respect to our men and women in uniform around the world who protect our liberties and way of life with the playing of our national anthem.
You just heard a beautiful rendition of the national anthem by the Jesup Marching Band, led by Kristen Hummel. You are watching the Jesup High School Athletics on the J-Hawks Sports Network from Heartland Technology. We welcome you to the Hawks Nest inside Lorianne Sabres Press Box at the Jesup Community School Football and Track Complex. Tonight, your 2025 Jesup J-Hawks will face off against the Osage Green Devils in the non-district finale and a home opener for your Jayhawks. Good evening. This is Coach Tim Sauer along with Jessup's industrial tech teacher, 13-year veteran teacher, and a friend of the network, Alex Relo. Alex, being from Osage, you came down to UNI to become industrial tech teacher. How are you doing, man? Great to see you here. You had a long day at work with me, and now we're here to watch some Jesup football.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say we had a long day at work, but definitely a day at work. So, yep, being from Osage, I figured I'd had to come out and watch this one, see if I knew anybody out here, and watch the Jayhawks beat up on them tonight.
Yeah, Coach Alex Relo and I have been talking all since he arrived here about half an hour ago, just talking about some of the names that people he might have played with, some familiar names from Osage. He actually saw some of his acquaintances and friends are over on the other sideline in the press box next to us. So it'll be a great opportunity for Alex Relo to talk a little bit about the Osage Green Devils throughout the game. Looks like Jesup deferred the toss, and the Green Devils decide to receive. This is the Jayhawks Sport Network, presented by Heartland Technology. If you were catching on earlier, Coach McMartin and I talked about keys to success in our pregame show. And one thing that the Jayhawks talked about this week is they got to fight for everything. They're going to claw. They're going to fight for each other. So it's going to be a great opportunity as you see the 2-0 Osage Green Devils coming into Jesup to square off against the 0-2 Jayhawks.
Tim, do you know how many times we have seen Jesup in the past?
Okay. I can hear you. No, that'll be coming from the gentleman over there from the PA. Yep, sounds good. Go ahead, Mr. Relo.
Do you know how many times we've played played Osage in the past?
Yeah, so according back to Quick Stats, Varsity Bound, it goes back to about 2007. So we are currently 1-1 versus the Green Devils. Last year's playoff loss, where we succumbed to the Green Devils, and that game was a 53-13 playoff bout with Osage winning. And then the last time we played Osage at home ended up being in the COVID year, where the Jayhawks beat the Green Devils 27-26.
That was a good game. I was at that one as well, and I think we can go back even farther when Brock Sabres caught a touchdown pass to beat Osage at Osage. So there's a few rivalries there.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and open up the yearbook, probably some paper copies of some stats back there to see how the Jayhawks did. Kicking off for the Jayhawks right now is going to be Haley Gangler, sophomore kicker, 2 for 2 on PAT so far this year, and a field goal last week against Vinton Schellsburg. And here's the boot. Lands right at about the 27-yard line and returned by Quinn Streets, captain in a big hit by, I believe, Drew Munson.
That's a good hit to start the game.
Yeah, that's an excellent tone setter. That's one thing Coach McMartin and I talked about, especially going into last week, just starting on a good note, starting fresh and hot. And so we're going to see what the Green Devils can start off here. Green Devils coming in from last week, beating Gardner Hayfield Ventura 48-6, and then their week 1 opener against Hampton Dumont Cal. See a tight set here from the Green Devils. Handoff up the middle.
Moeller.
Ooh, strong. Yep, you're right.
Moeller.
Yep, strong run by Moeller. Tackled down by a host of Jayhawks, not before gaining 7 yards. There are several athletes for the Osage, from the Osage football team that a lot of these Jayhawks might have seen during wrestling season, and I can really count on the expertise from Alex Relo, who's been a long-time wrestling coach for us, to kind of pinpoint some of the wrestling names that we've seen for the Green Devils. 2nd and 4 here, roll out by Streets, looks downfield. Ooh, I don't think so. Yeah, he dropped it.
Sage Christensen on the incomplete pass right there.
I think one thing you see from Quinn Streets, from a little bit of the film study that I saw this week, they're going to try to get him out of the pocket. You know, the Osage offensive line is a beefy crew, starting up front from number 51, Hughesman, at 200 pounds. Then you've got left guard Heidemann, looking at 6'3", 215. Mockin at 5'11", 235. Hunter Brown, 6'2", 207. And another Moeller, 5'10", 192.
Handoff up the middle. First down.
First down for Osage. Just powering up the middle. One thing Coach McMartin and I talked about on the pregame show is going to be Osage has a lot of big. Oh, maybe a measurement.
Move to here. You're 2, he's 1.
He's 2, I'm 1. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Oh, a little reset of the game clock there. All right, first in town for the Green Devils. 2-by-2 set. Motion. Maybe a little
Moeller stopped him.
And this is exactly what Coach McMartin talked about. Just briefly was talking about the big play capabilities of Green Devils. With the 9 touchdowns they've scored this year, I think. Oh, there we go. 7 or more of the touchdowns from the Green Devils this year have been from plays that are longer than 20 yards plus. So a really good game plan for the Jayhawks here is going to be try to make the Green Devils earn every single yard that they can. Make them sustain drives and don't give up the big play. Roll out from Quinn. Streets looking to use that speed that got him in the top 10 for the 400 in the state track meet last year. And a touchdown from Quinn Streets. You know, in Rio, we were briefly talking before the broadcast, trying to keep Quinn Streets in the pocket, try to keep him from using that athletic ability that he has, and trying to rile him up in the pocket.
Yeah, Streets definitely an athlete. You can tell his dad was an athlete, his mom was a heck of an athlete. Now look what's coming through. So, yeah, it's something we got to keep him contained. Moeller's obviously going to pound the ball up the middle because he's an animal, like we said. State champ last year in wrestling. So pretty solid kid.
On the year so far, Quinn Streets has 15 carries for 179 yards and 3 touchdowns. PAT is blocked. Miss for the Green Devils, starting at 6 and with a score of 6-0. One thing that you saw from the kicker from Osage, Dalton Burkhart, is he's left-footed. So as we see the Green Devils kick off here, it's going to be interesting to see what type of look that we end up getting in the kick return game. Dalton Burkhart, 11 kickoffs on the year, 2 touchbacks, totaling over 543 yards on his kickoffs, and now being 6 for 9 on PATs going on the year. Just looking at our American flag here, it looks like we have a breeze coming from west to east, so it'll be interesting to see what Dalton is able to do here on the kickoff, if he can continue racking up his kickoff yards, or if it'll potentially be his 3rd touchback of the year. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Mr. Relo is alumni of the Osage Green Devils, and he's actually someone who kicked for the Green Devils as well, so we can lean on him for his kicking expertise. Maybe sometime we can actually talk to him about the square toe shoe he used to wear too. I don't know how many people still wear the square toe, but
you can still buy them, I'm sure, but that's the way real kickers do it, is with the old square toe.
And here's a kick fielded at the 22-yard line, returned by Aiden Youngblood, bouncing off a couple Green Devils and tackled at the 22-yard line. Nope. 27-yard line. So great opportunity for the Jayhawks to get started here on offense. One thing that Coach McMartin was talking a little bit is trying to stay ahead of the sticks. That's one thing we talked about in the pregame show today. So we'll see if our Jayhawks, with quarterback Cade Reese out there getting his first career start at quarterback tonight, can start off the Jayhawks right. Looks like a penalty on the play. Man, I could have swore I saw a Green Devil move first. What do you think, Al?
Yeah, that's kind of what I saw, but what do they see?
Offsides on the Green Devils. Nice use of a hard count. Coach, Al, you've been coaching. You've coached middle school football. You've played high school football. Being able to use that hard count to start off a game is a great way to slow down that interior rush from the defense. Yeah,
get started with some positive yardage going right away and get the defense thinking about the count. And
1st and 5 in a run and stuffed at the line. Nowhere for Tice Larson to go. And a lot of mass in the middle there for the Jayhawks to try to block and for Tice to try to bounce off. Looks like the Jayhawks lost a yard or two on the play and are facing a 2nd and 6. Jayhawks break the huddle. 2-man set near the Jessup sideline. Tight end, wide receiver on the Osage sideline. Reese drops back. Feels a little pressure in the pocket. Decides to use his feet. And a solid hard run there by Reese. Looking at, a 3rd and manageable.
3rd and 3?
A 3rd and 3. And this is what Coach was talking about, staying ahead on the sticks. You get first down, if you can get half on first down, 2 on second down, and you look at 3rd and manageable, it's an opportunity for success. This is not a place where you want to have a negative play or a penalty and then back you up and maybe put you in the ability to punt. Third down.
Last year when we played these guys in the playoffs, I think that we kept it close in the first half and played really tough against them, and I think we even drew blood first, didn't we?
I believe so. It was a really good game to start off the first, second quarters. Coach McMartin talked about how some adjustments by him didn't go his way, and that led for the direction that game went. And a first down for the Jayhawks with a solid run, and nice job by the Jessup moving crew, giving Tice Larson just a little bit of space to wiggle through to get that first down. Excellent first drive for the Jayhawks to be able to move the ball. 1st and 10, 2-man set to the Jessup sideline. Run. Tice fighting for every single yard. Lucky if we got back to the line of scrimmage, maybe no gain, loss of 1 yard.
Looks like he hesitated a little bit on that one.
Yeah, sometimes when you see just the mass of the other color, right, your read gets messed up. The hole, your entry point and your aiming point get distorted, and it makes it really hard to try to hit the correct hole. Jessup looking at 2nd and 10 on the 38-yard line. 7:56 left on the clock in the first quarter. Another two-man set to the Jessup sideline. Reed, Cade being shifty.
Nice run there by Cade.
And that's one thing. Coach McMartin and I were talking a little bit about Cade Reese this week, and his ability to see the game is just something that it slows down for him, and his ability to execute is so high. So what I've seen so far, especially on that quarterback run game, is we've seen maybe a little bit slower developing, but Cade has the ability to hit the hole and fall forward for a couple more yards.
Is this Cade's first varsity start?
This is Cade's first varsity start. Sophomore, Cade Reese, 6'1", 165 pounds. Traditional 2x2 set, empty. Rees rolls out, looks at his read on the outside
pass.
to Aiden Youngblood, and that's another J-Hawk first down.
That was perfectly executed right there. Nice roll out, hit his receiver, just perfect.
Yeah, it was I really like the concept Coach McMartin had there. Ball was on the left hash, a little nice rollout to buy Cade a little bit more time into the reliable hands of Aiden Youngblood. Jessup on the other side of the 50, 1st and 10 from the 48-yard line. Two-man set by Osage's sideline. Motion out from Tice Larson. Now we go empty. Little quarterback run, and Rees is stuffed at the middle of the line. Looks like a little adjustments and a little more A-gap pressure coming from Osage, trying to defend that A-gap run game, the quarterback run game from J-Hawks.
I believe that was Machen in the middle that stopped that.
Captain Alex
Machen,
5'11", 235-pound senior. 11 tackles, 8 solo tackles, 2 tackles for loss on the year. Jayhawks 2nd and 13 on the other side of the 50 now, 49, and Coach McMartin does not like that look. Jayhawks are going to take a timeout here to talk over what they saw. You know, some really great momentum, some great stuff that we saw from the Jayhawks right now. Alex, what do you think Coach McMartin's talking about here in the huddle?
I think he's just saying keep it consistent, keep moving the ball down the field. You know, we had that play that went for negative yards, but, you know, if we can keep the ball going forward, you just got to keep wearing them down.
The defensive line for Osage has some beef up front as well. You have Severin Dodd, number 1, 6'2", 200. Hank Clark, 5'10", 250. Alex
Machen.
Anyone that's listening at home, I apologize if I butcher the name. My wife and I worked on these names all week, so I'm working on it, so don't get too mad at me. 2nd and 13 from the 49-yard line. Two-man set on both sides. Motion by the Jayhawks. Pass back, good time. Reed steps up, and he's met into the arms of some Jayhawks, but fell forward, fought for a couple extra yards, and now we're looking at a little bit more manageable 3rd and we'll call it 9.
Machen again on that tackle. We need to start double teaming him or get somebody on him.
Yeah, you know, as you look and you progress through the game, you come in with a game plan. You come in with a game plan, and then, you know, the other team has a game plan too, and then the big part between first and second quarter and even halftime is what adjustments you're going to make. One thing you see up front from the Green Devils is rotating defensive line. Maybe they're going for a certain tell, wide side, short side. Ooh, RPO from the Jayhawks. Gavin Cherry trying to make something happen in space.
There's a late hit. That didn't get called, but.
And tackle made by, I missed the number there on the Green Devils, and it looks like it's going to be 4th and 11 here for the Jayhawks. Some really good stuff shown and look from the Jessup offense, and then Osage kind of buckled their backs a little bit and making Jessup punt here. Aiden Youngblood, punter for the Jayhawks. You're looking at here is someone who's done a really nice job so far for the Jayhawks. Never really want to talk about how much you punt. Great snap from the long snapper and kick. And Oscar Cole is punting out of bounds. Osage is going to take over at the 26-yard line, and we're going to see the Osage offense back out here in a
They
second.
kept walking that up. Got it at the 32.
Oh, 32. You know, that's always such a hard thing. You see it in the college game, and then you see it in the pro game. You see people, whether it's purposeful directional kick or a coffin kick, and, it's super hard to try to see where it went out of bounds in the air. Sometimes it's not as clear as it lands on the ground and comes out.
See what adjustments Jesup made here. See if we can keep Quinn Street contained and keep him inside the pocket.
2x2 set here for the Osage Green Devils. Motion here by Dodd. Streets in the pocket, rolls out, having all sorts of time. He's such an athlete, being able to move his feet across the body. Oh, an incomplete pass.
Incomplete pass to Dodd.
You saw Dodd and you saw Captain Sage Christensen running out there, and both trying to make a play, and we're better that they both tried to make a play and no catch versus one of them making play and potentially get a first down. 2nd and 10 from the 32-yard line. 4:53 left on the clock. See a little bunch set from the Green Devils. Roll out, looks like a pure run from Streets. Finds a blocker out to the Osage sideline and stumbles forward for what looks like mark him short. Out of bounds. Okay, Jayhawks looking to try to get the Green Devils off the field here on a 3rd and short.
There was no hiding that, Tim. It was complete run the whole time.
Right. And that's what makes Street so dangerous. He's such an athlete. He has his speed and his shiftiness and ability to get out. That's a hard person to tackle. You're looking at high school football, making tackles in open space has always been a difficult thing. Everybody in the phone booth here. It's a punishing run by the Green Devils, and as you look here, Brock Trees, it's coming back. Brock Trees bounces off, and he's running up the sideline for an Osage touchdown. We'll see what this penalty is all about. That's always so tough, Val. You've coached middle school football before. On those big runs like that, somebody gets excited, maybe pushes somebody in the back, and we'll see if this is coming back here. And we've got holding on the Green Devils.
Great penalty there for the Jayhawks. Hopefully we can build off of that. And
so that's going to be a spot fall. So they'll still have the first down, and then wherever the fall took place, they'll back them up 10 yards. So it should be first down for the Green Devils at the 48-yard line. One thing I just saw, Brock Trees carrying the ball. Captain Brock Trees, 5'10", 170 pounds. He has 8 carries for 42 yards this season. So for my film study, just looking, not someone who gets an awful lot of carries, but he would have doubled his rushing total on the year. 1st and 10 for the Green Devils. 2-person set on the other side. Run all the way. Finish it. I believe that.
again.
Trees again, pounding the rock, trying to secure some between the B gaps, and I believe that was Andrew Devlin with the tackle. Andrew being someone who has played a whole bunch. He played last year, he played this year, and I think he's really come into his own. Just somebody who has lived in the weight room, gotten stronger. He's a lot more physically mature than he has been in years past, and it's great to see him start off having a great senior year.
Yeah, Andrew's made some big strides. So has Nick Tempest, who's right next to him on the line. I mean, those guys have really grown up and turned into some ball players for us.
Green Devils with the 2-back set, fake the handoff, and then Severin Dodd looking like he's getting pretty close to a first down. It looks like the Jayhawks making some tackles, and we're going to have the ball here at 3rd down and 1 yard to go on Jesup 44-yard line. Lots of formation. Talk to Coach Sullivan this week. Lots of formations that you're going to see from the Green Devils. Handoff, fullback up front, and a huge tackle behind. Looks like 4th down from Andrew Devlin again. Right now you're just seeing a really nice job for the defensive line getting off the ball and being able to create some issues for the guys up front. Although it was a great tackle, it looks like the Green Devils were able to get a first down. 1st and 10 from the 42-yard line. Green Devils really liking this bunch set towards the Jesup sideline. Snap, roll out from Street, looking downfield. And you saw a catch from Captain Sage Christensen. Sage has 2 catches on the year for 54 yards and 1 touchdown. You know, Al, looking through the stats from Osage, you know, you see the name Moeller, you see the name Streets. And then after that, you know, they spread the ball a lot. They spread the ball around, especially in the passing game. You see Severn Dodd has 5 receptions on the year.
Trees is in there,
Yep.
Dylan Hop. They've got weapons all over, which, you know, you try to focus on 1 or 2 guys, and, you know, they keep kind of spreading it out.
Roll out from the Green Devils and pushed out of bounds. And that's what's going to make Quinn Streets so dangerous, that ability to roll out, try to see the field, make those decisions that for the quarterback a little bit easier. And that's got to be really hard. That's got to be really hard for the Jesup defenders to be able to go out there and make that tackle, especially somebody like Braxton Cavalier, who you saw who's looked like he was sent on a design blitz there. He had a really great angle, needs to aim for that opposite shoulder, and just kind of came up a little bit short.
You know, Tim, you see a quarterback that's like that, not afraid to put his shoulder down. You know, to me, that's something that you don't really want, you know, get deeper into the playoffs and stuff like that, and you end up seeing those injuries from that. I hope that, you know, this doesn't catch up with them, but.
Yeah, exactly. Right there for the Green Devils. A couple yards on the pass play. You saw the motion out the running back, and then just a little little out route to the vacated area, trying to set up the Green Devils for a 3rd and short situation. Looks like about 3rd and 2 on the 25-yard line. Last time the Green Devils had a 3rd down, they converted on it, but this is what Coach McMartin wants right now. We want the Green Devils to earn every single yard. We want to try to eliminate the big plays on offense. 2-back set from the Green Devils. Design quarterback run to Streets, and just a wall of blue met for Quinn Streets as he falls forward for probably 5 or 6 yards, another Green Devil 1st down. You know, Rio, this is, although the Green Devils they're making some progress and moving the ball downfield, you know, we're bottling up some of those explosive plays. We're making them earn those extra yards. And, you know, I think at this point, especially as a veteran team as Osage, this is some winning stuff. This is some stuff you can build on, some momentum that you can take moving into the next drive.
Yeah, you got to have little wins in order to get a big win. So, yeah, just keep, you know, battling them up front, making it. Oh,
ball's loose. Looks like a bad exchange. Quinn Street trying to make something out of nothing. Tripped up for what will probably be, you know, it's a broken play. One thing that we talked about this week in our pregame show is Quinn Street's ability to make something out of nothing. And something, you know, it could have been way worse for the Green Devils, but now we're looking at 2nd and maybe 15, 2nd and 14. A huge break for the Jayhawks as we're trying to keep Osage from knocking out the door. Second and 14 on the 19-yard line. Looks like a zone read from the Osage Devils. Oh,
looked like a hold, but
dang! Right on the outside there. You know, that's one thing that we talk about, I'm sure, in our time of coaching, that you look and it's like, hey, you want to get your hands inside the breastplate and you want to try to move. You don't have to overpower someone, especially if you're a wide receiver going on a cornerback, but you want to keep your hands in the breastplate, and that's a good block. Now, if the hands got outside or you fall on the person, then there's some discussion for holding. But as we can see here, there's no penalty for holding. And that's the end of the quarter. Osage 6, Jesup 0. And this offense that has had some opportunities to score in previous weeks has been only held to 6 points. So nice start by the Jayhawks, good start by Osage. But, you know, I think our Jayhawks are fighting and they're clawing and they're scrapping right now, Al. And it'll be interesting to see how we bow our backs here at 3rd and 9 on the 15-yard line.
Yeah, we just got to keep playing tough and just keep our heel or our toes dug in and just keep pushing forward.
You know, it'd be great if we get a stop here and we could see the field goal unit, and if we could end up seeing Dalton come out, the lefty come out and kick. Al, when you were kicking in high school, what was your range? Are we talking, 45, 50 yards with the square toe, or?
Oh God, I think there was one time I hit one at 70 or 80, but we won't talk much about that one. We don't talk much about the range, Tim. I was just one that would kick the ball.
Yep. So
got in trouble one time because we were told that we could not have white cleats.
Oh.
Our coach said we had to have black. So, me being me, I had white ones bought, and I ended up painting them every single game just to be that guy. And I think one game, it was our homecoming game, and I ended up wearing gold cleats that night and had a pretty good night. So
that does not surprise me, Mr. Wheel.
No.
And we can talk a little bit of how hard it is to order a white square toe cooking shoe.
I didn't have a white square toe; it was black.
Black.
I had to change, so I was the center,
Yep.
and we'd score a touchdown. I'd have to get off. I'd have to put my square toe on and go kick the PAT.
Yep. Wild. All right, so we're looking at 3rd and 9 from the 15-yard line, and timeout from Osage coming off the quarter.
God, the Jessup student section sure is filling up here. I don't know if those are got a few ex-football players in there, but
Yep.
yeah, it's pretty busy down there.
Yeah, well, it looks like we got a nice little house here tonight. We've got a nice little student section and great opportunity. It rained a little bit, probably about 3:30 to 4 o'clock. Got super humid out as Mr. Reel and I are currently sweating in the press box. And it feels like it's cooled off right now. It's probably a little bit cooler than 78 degrees. There's a nice little breeze still going from north to south. And, as Osages come out here on offense, it'll be interesting to see if that affects their kicking game at all. Osage comes out in a 3-by-1 set towards the Jesup sideline.
Here's one you got to have a big play on.
Roll out by Streets, get to his outside shoulder, pass and catch, and tackle caught by Captain Dodd, 6'2", 200 pounds, 5 receptions and 94 yards on the year with 2 touchdowns. Now this is interesting territory here, Al. They've got 4th and 3 right inside the 10-yard line. Depending on how confident you feel in your kicking game, you can kick it. What I know about high school football, you get inside the 15-yard line, it's go. It's the red zone. You got to try to put points on the board here.
Especially at that last missed PAT, you got to go for it.
Yes. All right, 2-back set. Run.
Big stop.
Oh, that initial mark looks like it's at the 6-yard line.
Short.
And let's see where we get the official measurement. Oh, I'm going to take a little pause here. Green Devils sending some personnel on the field. I don't know if they think it's going to be that they didn't convert. Official measurement from the white hat, his time. And we'll wait. This would be such a huge stop for the Jayhawks. It's tough being backed up inside your own 10, but being able to stop this conversion here is going to be huge. Jayhawks doing a great job extending the drive, 10, 12-play drive. And we're to see the official measurement here. Yeah!
Jayhawks.
Big stop from the Jayhawks. That's a win. Anytime you can stop, one thing I remember we talked about in college is bend, don't break, right?
Yep.
They can run, and it's super hard, especially as an offensive coordinator. When that field condenses, you only have so many more options of what plays you can call and what plays you can run. So it'll be great to see what Jesup can do here at the 1st and 10 at the 5-yard line. Jesup coming out with the 2-man set over towards Jessup sideline. Cade Reese.
So, Tim, you're the guy with all the answers here. Who do we have for a chain crew over there from the Jesup side?
I would have to look a little bit closer at my notes. My eyes are on what they used to be. And a run up the middle, snuffed out by the Osage Green Devils.
Loss of 1, I think.
Looking at 2nd and maybe 11, 2nd and maybe 12 for the Jayhawks. It's a tough spot. It's a tough spot because you don't want to try to get too cute backed up. You want to be able to get some yards. You don't want to be punting too deep into your end zone if it comes to that. But Jayhawks come out here with a two-man set to the Osage sideline. Motion by RH for a three-man set. Handoff, hard run by Tice, and he stumbles forward for maybe 7 yards. Al, I really like this. You know, part of a little bit in the Dyke New Hartford game, you know, we had some glimpses of some really nice stuff. Didn't do a great job of sustaining drives. Same thing at Vinton Shellsburg, able to move the ball a little bit more. But right now about the Osage, in the Osage game, you're seeing a really nice job by the Jayhawks. You know, you don't see any hurry up. You don't see any tempo. You just see it very methodical. Let's get down the field. Let's get a couple solid runs. And let's see what we can do to constrict and expand the box.
Yeah, we've got just the same amount of athletes as they do. I mean, we've got 11 people out there. They've got 11 guys out there. We just got to step up and, you know, be more hard-nosed than they are.
3rd and 6, pass by Reeves, a little curl concept to the Jessup sideline, and it looks like the Jayhawks are going to be 4th down and 1. And it looks like the Jayhawks are going to bring out the punt team. You can see the exchange here from the Osage Green Devils. Returning right now, Jayhawks in punt formation. Good snap. Youngbuck gets it. End over end kick. Fair catch called by the Green Devils. Number 9, Sage Christensen with the catch, and Osage will take over at the 39-yard line. Great job there by Jessup on defense. Move the ball. So on that last possession. Osage gets the ball in Jessup territory. So it'll be interesting to see how the Green Devils come out and attack with 9 minutes and 47 seconds left in the second quarter.
Here's another one of those bend not break situations, Tim. You know, we're on the 39-yard line. We got to, you know, keep bending. Don't give up any big plays.
Oh! Pass across the middle in an empty set. Moeller gets it, runs to the Osage sideline, still fighting for yards upfield, pushes a Jayhawk defender and gets a first down. Looked like about a 17-yard gain, and give credit to Moeller. Saw it in his hands. You know, we've all been there before. You see it, you're getting ready to run upfield to see where the green grass is. Almost bobbled it and lost it, and got enough for the first down. Ball gets marked. Quad set to the Jessup sideline. Osage showing a little bit of tempo here. Run up to the right side. B-gap gets widened. Streets out to the outside, and he's able to skirt up to the, where are we at? To Jessup's 9-yard line. You know, that tempo is such a critical thing, especially with some of the explosive athletes that Osage has. And it's hard. And it's hard to come out here and try to plan for tempo and practice against tempo. 4-man set to the Jayhawks sideline. Streets back to pass. Making room. Out to the side. Maybe holding. And Streets gets upfield to about the 5-yard line. And as you can see, there's a flag on the play. And Al, from the little I know about football, that's in the territory of holding.
Yes, that would definitely be a hold right there.
Great job. I missed the number of the Jayhawk who was, you know, scrapping, fighting, and clawing up front to try to work on that holding penalty. We'll get the official call here.
I believe that was Nick Tempest or Andrew Delvin. One of them was ended up on their back, so that usually ends up with a nice hold.
And a really nice job by both those gentlemen. Tempest, just a weight room warrior, just really been working his tail off. And talking to Nick a little bit about this week, his role this week is to be disruptive on the defensive line. It's his goal to say, hey, you're going to move me, and we'll see how good we can do.
Yeah, when it takes two guys to move him, that makes for a tough night. So,
1st and 17 for the Green Devils. Inside handoff reverse. Bounces out to the outside. And Dodd with the end around touchdown. Misdirection is so tough to guard against. You saw a bunch set towards the Osage sideline, a run by the running back, inside handoff, and that's so tough to defend against. You can talk about with your linebackers, pursuit, get your eyes on your reads. But that tough little inside handoff, it's just tough to defend against. Looks like the Green Devils, being up 12-0 after the missed PAT, are going to go for 2 here to try to make it an even 14. Two-back set coming from the Green Devils. Streets under center. Handoff, rollout, looking for an open target, and hits Dodd for a 2-point conversion. And that is Dodd's second 2-point conversion on the year. There's a couple other Osage Green Devils who have had some 2-point conversions, and that's something I think the Osage Green Devils aren't afraid to try to pull up their bag of tricks in order to do.
Yeah, I don't know if they've run the same play twice yet, have they, Tim?
You know, it's really hard to tell. I'm sure if I had my computer matrix up here in my Google spreadsheets, I could tell you a little bit more. But talking with some of the Jessup coaches this week, that's what you see. They have some different formations. You know, they've come out in quads, trips, two-man set, another set where you have your inside slot receiver or your tight end being right tucked behind the guard and tackle. So it's a lot. It's a lot of window dressing, and if you're a coach that has the ability to have all these different looks, you can run a lot of your same plays in there. But that can be tough to plan against.
Yeah, it's tough to prepare in 5 days or 6 days to look at all those different formations and, you know, get a good game plan for them. So
that's one thing I talked with Coach McMartin into the scrimmage week, and then when you're week 1 opponent, you have 2 to 3 weeks to plan for someone, and then as the season starts, you got to start. You only have 4 or 5 days to get ready for your next opponent. Larson and Youngblood back deep for the Jayhawks. Dalton with the kick into the wind. Looks like we get it right about the 15-yard line. Youngblood looking for a lane, going upfield.
Nice run by Aiden.
Nice hard run. You know, I got Aiden and lifting, and me and him talk about football here and there, and he said he's ready to go. You know, hopefully we don't see a lot of them punting, but he's ready to be a difference maker, whether it's in the kicking game, whether it's in the return game, and especially on offense and defense. First and 10 for the Jayhawks on the 37-yard line. Jayhawks coming in a split set, 2x2. Empty. Cade Reese, first start in the backfield. Motion from Tice coming across. Looks like a jet sweep, misdirection. And Reese is met 1 yard behind the line of scrimmage, and looks like he fell forward for a no gain. You know, Al, we can look at some of these names for Osage up front, and they've got some kids who've wrestled, and it's great to see kids playing other sports, multi-sport athletes. Talk about how important being a defensive lineman and a wrestler, and how important those two kind of mesh together.
Yeah, I mean, in Osage you got multiple sport athletes. Obviously we've got a few state champions out there that are playing football. We had some names that we had the Coopers who won a few state titles, Vinnie Wagner, Ryan Kettleson, a bunch of athletes that were big contributors to the football team as well. So, you know, instead of just sitting in the stands and being a single sport athlete, you know, like we were out there taking everybody to get out there, and that's why we have success. So
exactly.
Multiple sport athletes are definitely helping out. So.
Previous play, 2nd and 10, incomplete pass around the ankles. Jayhawks looking 3rd and 10 here at the 37-yard line with 8 minutes and 20 seconds left. Two-man set to the Jessup sideline. Osage showing pressure, A-gap pressure. Reese back to pass, looks, and just a little underthrown off the hands of Tice Larson. Looked like he was screaming up the sideline from the backfield, and incomplete pass, and the Jayhawks are forced to punt again.
Sage Christensen's not a name that I've heard, but he's playing ball tonight.
Yeah, that's a name. You know, I've worked with Mr. Reel for 13 years now, so it's always been great to hear the different Osage stories and the names that come through Osage. And he's corrected me even in the lunchroom with some of these names that I have been butchering all week. Pressure from Osage. Oh, and a fake! Aiden Youngblood looking for green space. Keep running! And a first down. Coach McMartin going to his bag of tricks to try to flip the field. And some life here for the Jayhawks.
That was perfect watching the blockers downfield. You know, one of the big things that would have hurt that would have been a penalty, and they just made dang sure that they kept it clean, and Aiden got upfield. That was awesome.
And that's a great job from the scouting department for our Jesup football. Is you saw, I think, 8 or 9 guys towards the line of scrimmage. More times than not, your gunner, your guy on the far side on the punt, is just going to run with the other gunner. And Coach McMartin saw something and called up the fake and allowed the ability for the Jayhawks to get a first down here.
Speaking of the scouting department, who do we have in there from Jesup right now?
The scouting department?
Yeah. Who's the lead scout in the Jesup?
Lead scout, man, there is such a plentiful of assistant coaches here for the Jayhawks, and we have a decent amount of teachers here.
Would that be Mr. Lee? Is he the head scout right now?
I would say that one of our middle school teachers, Mr. Lee, is someone who's new to the staff this year, but not super new to Jesup. He's been here for handful 2 years, and he's someone, and he was already up in the press box, I think 80 minutes before the game. I saw him with his little pad and his notes, and he looked like he was ready to go. I wanted to say something, but he wasn't smiling, so I haven't talked to him yet, but I'm sure Coach McMartin rants and raves about him, about how helpful he's been this year from practice and what he offers from the scouting department side. And obviously we found something to move the ball here.
Tim, as a coach, how important is it to have people that are, really good with huddle and the scouting and stuff like that? As a head coach, to take that off of you a little bit, that's got to be super helpful.
It's super great. Everybody knows the role. Big run from Reese here, 1st and 10, looking at the 42-yard line, and maybe a gain of 3 yards. Al, to get back to your question here, it's huge. As a head coach, you wear many hats. And when you have so many coaching members that are willing to say, hey, I'll do this. Like this year, Coach D'Souza, who's our kicking guru, standing right on the sideline right next to Coach Sullivan at the 48-yard line. He's someone who lives and breathes special teams. And when you can give different tasks to people, it makes your job as a head coach a little bit easier.
Tim, as an Osage grad, looking across the field, there's usually a guy walking around with big old fluffy hair and a pencil in his ear eating a bag of popcorn, Larry Grine. I think he retired this year, so he's not over there making really neat comments to the kids,
I bet.
pumping them up. So.
Oh, I bet. And that's the nice thing with the staff. Tough run there by the Jayhawks, looking at 3rd and 8 on the 39-yard line. Having that continuity with the staff members staying year after year. And it's tough because job changes happen. People have different things happen at home. And just to have these different people stay on staff, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel every single year. 3rd down here from the Jayhawks. A triangle set, 3-person set on the Osage sideline. Pass, drop back, 9 ball.
Got him beat.
And just a little off target there from the Jayhawks. Pass intended for, looks like senior Max DeVore, 5'10", 150 pounds. Max DeVore, I can't say enough about that kid. One of the nicest kids you'll ever meet, one of the hardest working kids. And it looked like he had a nice little matchup, just ball sailed on him a little bit there.
Max is one of those kids you could tell him to run through a wall, and he sure would.
He'll keep doing it till he does it, right? All right, 4th down for the Jayhawks, 4th and 8 from the 38-yard line, 6 minutes and 42 seconds left. Empty set here, 2x2 with the H tucked in between the guard and tackle. Pass, low snap, Rees looks, goes downfield, and threw it. Oh, that was so tough. Intended target was going to be Bradley Pint, and it looks like, I think, a name you've seen. Was that Sage Christensen?
I believe so.
Sage Christensen with the intercept. So tough. Really great momentum here from the Jayhawks. And as a wide receiver, I played a lot of wide receiver back in the day. You got to win your route. You got to look and you got to see, what's my release look like? I got to win inside leverage. And Osage just did a little bit better job than the Jayhawks did here. 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. 2x2 set here from Osage. Streets drops back. Looks at his check down to Brock Trees, and it looks like about a 14-yard gain.
So, Tim, you said you played a lot of receiver. How did you make the transition from a receiver to a lineman?
That's a great question, Al. So my freshman year, I wanted to be a tight end, right? And that was the peak time for Tony Gonzalez. All right. Osage in the hurry up. Design quarterback run by Streets off the B gap. And
swarmed him on that one.
Tackled by a flock of Jayhawks. Back to We'll see if Osage huddles here, and I can tell you about my transition from tight end to offensive line. Osage getting the play real quick. Setting back up here, 2nd and 6 with 6 minutes left to go. Bubble route. Almost looks like a hook and ladder. Hook and ladder. Tackle by Rees. Looks like he's down.
1 yard line.
1 yard line. And great play set up by Osage. A little curl route with a mesh rail from Brock Trees coming out of the backfield. About a half second sooner for the Jayhawks. It looks like they would have bottled that up. And Al, that's what we're talking about. Those big plays from Osage. And, you know, an 8-yard curl route turned into a 40-yard gain. And those big plays are things that Coach McMartin wanted to button up this week. And we'll give credit to Osage being able to dig into their bag of tricks to be able to keep the Jayhawks guessing.
Tough part about that is how do you keep the kids, you know, motivated once they get a 40-yard play on them? You know, it's really tough for them to bounce back from that, but that's where the resilience comes in. And
a touchdown by Osage by a quarterback keep from Streets, from a quarterback power. Currently 20-0 with 5 minutes and 48 seconds left. And Quinn Streets adds to his rushing and touchdown total, coming to the game with 15 carries, 179 yards, and 3 tackles. Streets continued to add to his season stats. Osage coming out in their offensive set. Not wanting to do the kicking game. They've shown so far this year they have the ability to have several two-point conversions. Roll out from Streets, looking at Dodd, trying to use his feet, keeping his feet alive. Overthrow to Eulenhop in the back corner of the end zone. One thing Coach McMartin and I talked on the pregame show, you can tell a lot about a team by how hard they come off the ball on the PAT field goals or on the little things like a two-point conversion. And you see the Jayhawks right now still scrapping and fighting. You know, if we don't give up that big play there's a lot of potential for, you know, a different series of events. So we'll see what Coach McMartin's telling the guys in the huddle here, getting ready for kickoff return, and see what we are able to do with just under 6 minutes left in the second quarter. You know,
we need to come down and, you know, at least get some points to get on the board before halftime, give us a little bit of momentum and a little bit of hope going into the locker room at half. But so see what Jessup can do. So
Jessup won the toss, deferred. Osage returned. This would be a really great time here. You get about a 4-minute drive. You score one here. You get the ball, you get the return at halftime. You start off on offense. So this would be a great opportunity for the Jayhawks to come out here, get a 14-point swing, and put themselves in a little bit better position. Big kick from Dalton. Looks like caught at the 15-yard line by Aiden. Aiden looking into the mass of humanity, trying to break it up the middle, and tackled at the 35-yard line. Getting a little chippy down there, it looks like. These Jayhawks are not going to back down. Up or down, you know, Coach McMartin and I said up or down 10, they were going to keep fighting. Down 20, the Jayhawks still have a lot of life in them.
Yeah, you like seeing that out of your quarterback a little bit, a little feisty, you know, not afraid to pop somebody in the jaw.
Yeah, you're talking about Cade Reese, and I don't think, you know, he's got 2 younger siblings, so I think they're used to getting after each other at the Reese household. So, yeah, you like a little bit of that nastiness coming from your quarterback as long as it's in a confined area and you're not always trying to lower your shoulder. But so 1st and 10, 5:40 left. Jayhawks at the 36-yard line. 2-by-1 set on the Jessup sideline. Handoff from the Jayhawks. Reed, Tice Larson looking for room and just met by a mass of Green Devils. And, man, that is so tough. I know Coach McMartin and I talked during our show this week and a little bit earlier in the week, making some adjustments up front, trying to get the offensive line in sync. You know, the run game is such a huge facet in Iowa high school football, especially in 1A and 2A. And if you can't get the run game going, it has potential to be a long night.
Yeah, that was a name right there, Hank Clark. We haven't seen him
no, we haven't
tonight, but
drop back by Rees, looking down the middle of the field. You saw Oscar Cole running, and just not enough time provide for the Jayhawks. 3rd and 11 for the Jayhawks. .430 left, and this is huge here. You know, it's a 3-score game for the Jayhawks. You know, there's a lot of time left on the clock, and you would hate to see something not go the right way and give the Green Devils over 3 minutes left on the clock in the second quarter. 2-man set towards the Jesup sideline. Pressure showing by Osage. Looks like some A-gap pressure. Pass. Reese steps up in the pocket. Tries to lateral it. Trying to fight off with a Green Devil on his legs, and incomplete pass.
Got lucky on that one. That looked kind of dangerous.
Yeah, so you look, you know, Reese was trying to make something out of nothing as he's got a defender in his face and a defender around his legs, and you know, it's hard to tell someone, hey, just, you know, take the ball down and try not to make a play, but I'll give credit to Reese. I've got Reese in class, and me and him love talking ball, and you know, he's got that feistiness in him, and he doesn't want to back down. 4th and 12 here. Jesup lining up in the punt formation, looking at 7 defenders getting ready to rush. Low snap, kick by Youngblood, end over end kick, takes a Jesup bounce. Pick it up, hand it to the referee. Nice job. Looking at the ball at the 23-yard line. So great job by Jesup being able to flip the field. Osage has the ball with 3:58 left. Al, we talked about your kicking. You ever punt?
No, I didn't punt. My dad was the punter.
Your dad was the punter?
Yeah, the old man was able to punt. I couldn't get that picked up.
Kicking, a Relo family tradition.
No, reloads were athletic. I wasn't that athletic.
Oh, so you were the outlier.
Yeah, I was the outlier.
1st and 10 on the 23-yard line. Just under 4 minutes. You see a tight bunch set. Toss to the outside. Moeller with room to run and tackled by a flock of Jayhawks. Looks like 3-4 yards for the Green Devils.
So here's a fun fact for you, Tim. So Moeller.
Yep.
His dad was a pretty good athlete, state champ. Street, his dad was athletic. His mom was a good basketball player. Who else do we have out there that we've been saying the names of? But anyways, these are the guys that, you know, were athletic in high school. The people that were athletic in high school, now their kids are coming through. So, yeah, it's interesting to see some of these kids and how they're progressing.
3-man set from Osage. Strees drop backs, doesn't like what he sees, rushing, going upfield, tucks it, gets a first down, but not met before. It looks like Drew Munson. Drew Munson with the tackle, and a couple other Jayhawks to come in and secure that tackle. Jayhawks in a 3-man set up front. Osage now deciding to take their time as they're trying to move the ball down the field. Just went under 3 minutes with a 1st and 10 situation. The ball on the 35-yard line. Empty set shown from Osage. Streets backs up. Pressure from Jesup. And a little pitch and catch right there from Streets. And to another name we keep calling for Osage, Sage Christensen. You know, coming into this game, Christensen only had 2 catches and 54 yards. Someone who, defensive side, has 1 interception. He's had some kick returns and some punt returns for Osage as well. He's someone we'll see do that a little bit more here after halftime. But just a nice little, you know, my thoughts on the game and keys for the game. Not someone who I thought we'd see touching the ball as much. Pass, rollout, Streets. Looking downfield, doesn't like what he's seen. Buying time, almost picked off by sophomore Gavin Cherry. Gavin Cherry, 5'8", 160 pounds, just getting a hand on that to deflect the pass from the Osage wide receiver. Al, what I really like now, I think Coach Sullivan's dialing up just a little bit more pressure. You know, with that 3-man front, you're seeing, you know, we run a 3-5, and you're seeing just a little bit more pressure coming from different sides of the field, whether it's the boundary side, it's the wide side, and it's making the Street get off his mark.
Yeah, he's getting uncomfortable back there a little bit, which that's what you got to do in order to start making plays.
So a pass, roll out from Streets, felt the pressure fleed, getting outside the pocket, and good for about a 16-yard run. And that's tough. We're doing a nice job up front, providing some pressure, getting Streets outside the pocket. But the tough part is Street excels when he's outside the pocket and when he has to when he has to create on his own.
You know, one of the things I was always coached up on, Tim, is you always want to turn guys in because that's where your mass is. And it doesn't seem like we're doing a very good job at turning him in to get all our players in there for the tackles.
When you have a schematically sound defense, you have someone called a force player, which forces the change of direction. And right now, Streets is just being able to get us off our marks. Pass by Streets, looking, Moeller, other side of the field, jump ball for Dodd, and they hit the, incomplete. No one's in position. Tough position for the officials. I thought I saw it hit.
That's
incomplete pass.
Right there. Yeah, we would have had to get instant replay out on that one if they would have called that a catch, Tim.
You know, I have a spotter in the stands that usually helps me out with some of the calls. Kelly Harold, someone who I've coached with in the past couple of years, and he's my guy with the instant replay. So he usually shoots me a text or two if something needs some clarification. We'll see if Coach Harold is able to give me his 2 cents on that. But
yeah, that instant replay, you know, with this internet thing going on, it's real nice to have that. You know, I'm a firm believer that the internet's not going to catch on, but, you know, with that instant replay, it's big.
Exactly. 2nd and 10, 2-man set. Streets doesn't like what he sees. Looks like design quarterback run. Zigging and zagging up the field, breaking tackles, flips the Street, and wow, no roadblocks for Streets as he runs in for another touchdown. I'll give it to Streets. We had guys in position. We were right there. And Streets, he's just super, you know, those Streets are slick right now for the Jayhawks. And that is so tough with 1 minute and 46 seconds left. And
we're broke down right in front of him. He just has shifty feet.
Yeah. You know, I mentioned this early in the broadcast. Streets being a phenomenal track athlete, placing in the top 10 in the 400 last year. His time in the 400 last year would be in the top 5 for Jessup's all-time 400-meter record. Osage going for 2 here. Trip set to the right, hand off to Moeller, and Moeller down. He's short. So the Jayhawks being able to bow their backs just a little bit here and stop it from going up to 28. Score, Osage 26, Jesup 0 with 1 minute and 46 seconds left. Looks like there's a little discussion from the referee crew if he was down or not, and the white hat came in and said he was down. So Coach Keel from the Green Devils just double checking with the sideline official, just clarification on the call. All the way out to the other hash. And he just wants to make sure that he understands what's going on. Jayhawks getting ready here for kickoff return. A lot can be done here with 1 minute 46. Osage out here with their kickoff team ready to go. You just got to keep trucking, as their cheerleaders say. Coached by the great Sarah Nolan, does an excellent job with her cheer squad. You can meet them in the Jack 6 o'clock about almost every morning practicing. There's a reason why they've had a lot of success in their cheer squad. Tyson Aiden back to return. Dalton getting ready to kick off. And a great boot going into the wind. Aiden gets the ball about the 10-yard line, looking for blockers. Misses one and then tackled. Tackled by Brock Trees. Solid tackle. And looks like Aiden Youngblood.
Don't want to see that.
No, you don't want to see that. And this is what I'm going to tell you. Where he's grabbing right now, I think just got the wind knocked out of him. So you want to talk about the human body here. When you get the wind knocked out of you, that's when your solar plex and your, the whatever helps you breathe ends up getting not paralyzed, but it just, when you get hit there, it ends up not helping you able to breathe. So the wind gets knocked out of you, and hopefully we can get Aiden up here in a second. He's going to be crucial for us to be able to get down here for a minute 40 left.
God dang, Tim, it's like you've researched that a time or two.
Yep. It's just like saying when someone comes over to me, hey, my finger's jammed. Well, your finger's not actually jammed. There's more to it than that.
So too bad we couldn't have talked when you made the transfer from the wide receiver to the line and how that looked for you.
Yeah.
Were you in 7th grade or what? When did you play
that was my freshman year. I spent 2 days learning the tight end in the Rosemont Irish Veer system, and the head freshman coach said, you're going to put your hand on the ground from now on.
And Mark Farley never looked back and put you back as a tight end.
Yep. Good times. All right, 1st and 10 on the 20-yard line. Jessup, minute 40 to try to get something moving here before they get the kickoff in the 3rd quarter. 2-by-2 set, empty from the Jayhawks. Reeves receives the snap, rolls out to his right, looking at Cherry, and drops it off out of bounds to number 1, Mason Horbach, sophomore, 5'6", 140 pounds. I would say secure the catch, but his feet just weren't in bounds.
Ran a nice route there, but just a little bit too far out.
Just a little bit. Jessup, 2nd and 10. Minute 35 left. 26-0 Osage. Looks like we got a 3-receiver set to the Osage sideline. Here's the snap. Rees drops back. Flushed out from the pocket, puts his head down, trying to get a couple more yards, and then goes out of bounds. Nice, smart play by Rees. He knew he wasn't going to get much more. Get out of bounds, save a hit, so he doesn't. Those hits end up adding up through the course of the game. And Rees is somebody last week against Vinton Shellsburg. He got his first career varsity interception. And it's a lot of snaps. Talking to some of these kids, some of our football players, average football game anywhere from 100 to 140 snaps. And a lot of these guys are playing upwards of 90-plus snaps. So try to save on some hits if possible. 3rd and 3 from the 26 with 90 seconds left. Quarterback designed run. Rees going forward.
Looked like a face mask on that one, but officials didn't see it.
It looks like his head kind of got a little snapped around. I don't know if that was a hand got up there or what the deal was, but Rees got for no gain. Timeout, I believe, from Osage. And that's going to put it at 4th and 3. And we'll see what type of punt we can get here, depending if Aiden's ready to go here or if Coach McMartin's going to take the Jayhawks out to go for it.
Tim, where we're standing right now, we look at Jesup facilities since we've been here. How many years? 13? You're the one that keeps track of that.
I'm the one who keeps. Yep,
I can never do that.
We're on year 13 now.
So what have we accomplished since you have been here and I have been here? We've got the jack, which, oh my God, that's been a huge asset for our kids. And lifting. How many kids are you seeing lifting in the mornings and stuff like that over the summer?
Yeah, in the Jesup Athletic Center, you're seeing anywhere from 50 kids in the morning and 2 other classes with 25, and it's probably the most used building next to the hallways in the whole entire Jesup Community School District. And we'll actually talk about your new shop here the second half, and you can talk about all the new bells and whistles you have. Jesup in the punt formation, new punter in, kick from Max DeVore. Max DeVore, nice spiral, not end over end. Oh, and they said he was down. He said his knee touched when he caught it. Christensen in the backfield. Christensen is questioning if his knee actually touched itself, but the referee said that he was down. Max DeVore has kicked a little bit. That's his 3rd punt this year. He's already punted twice for 57 yards, giving Aiden a little bit more of a blow out there. 1:18 left on the clock, 1st and 10 from the 46-yard line. This is we're going to see what we're made out of here. Does Osage come out and just try to run down the clock? I think with them taking the timeout, they don't want to do that. They want to see what they can get. Al, you're looking in agreement with me. I think they're going to keep trying to press the ball. 3-man set, drop from Street. Street doesn't like it, rolls out where he's the most dangerous. Passes it to Brock Trees. Brock Trees out, missed tackle, 1-2 from the Jayhawks. And a 16, 17-yard gain for Osage. Man, this is tough. Osage is trying to, they're doing their own scratching and clawing and fighting back and showing a little bit more tempo here. Empty set for the Green Devils. Rees with the snap. RPO on the side. Doesn't like it. Throws it to Dodd. Dodd looking for room. Great block out in front from Christensen. And another huge chunk play from Osage. Coach McMartin and I talked this week. Earlier today, we talked about big plays. Some offenses would say 20 yards plus. The Jayhawk defense looks at from 12 yards plus, and you're looking at multiple big play after big play, what makes them the most dangerous. And incomplete pass looked like a way to stop the ball. Fun fact for your Mr. Relo, when you used to kill the ball, just like what Streets did, obviously that's intentional. A long time ago, probably within the last 5 to 7 years, if you were in the gun and you would do that, they would call that intentional grounding. Now, through adaptations of the rule now, the new rule is you can be in the shotgun and clock the ball like that to stop the clock. When years past, that would have been intentional grounding. Osage, 2nd and 10 on the 15-yard line. 53 seconds left. 2 back set from the Green Devils. Christensen, Streets with time to throw. Baby step up the pocket and hits. Touchdown to Griffin Eulenhop. 6'10", junior, 6'10", holy cannoli. 6-foot junior, 160 pounds. And Eulenhop adds to his 3 receptions and 97 yards and 2 touchdowns on the season. Yeah, the height mismatch sometimes can just, especially when the field condenses like that, can be really tough. You look for your best athlete and you look for a jump ball, and Osage was able to connect there.
Looks like he was out against DeVore, who is 5'10". You know, Max isn't a very tall kid, but
pass from Streets, rolls out, tough angle from, looks like Cavalier, and short again on the 2-point conversion. So once again on the 2-point conversion, failed from the Osage Green Devils. Jessup has the ability to get the ball back here with 48 seconds, score 32-0 in favor of Osage. First quarter went super well here for the Jayhawks. And this second quarter, we're seeing what we've talked about, those big plays. And when you get those big plays in bunches like that, it makes it really hard to build that momentum. Jayhawks have done some nice stuff offensively, just having a hard time putting, after 5 or 6 plays, kind of just petering out from there. So we'll see what Coach McMartin has our offense doing here after the return. Be interesting to see who our return guys are. Back to return is number 7, Tice Larson. And back there, you're going to see freshman Oscar Cole. Tice Larson so far in the year, 2 kickoff returns for 76 yards. And Oscar Cole, freshman, 5'7", 145 pounds, getting a little taste of the Friday Night Lights at kick returner. Dalton with the kick from the 40-yard line, into the wind, low line drive, right into Tice. Tice takes it at the 10-yard line. Looks like he has some room to run, cuts up and tackled. And a great solo tackle from,
was that Huseman?
I think it was Huseman. So nice execution, no let up, being up by 32-0 by the Green Devils. Jayhawks with the ball at the 26-yard line, 43 seconds left. 2 receivers set towards the Jessup sideline. Snap, handoff. Nice run from Tice, shaking off tacklers. Nice block by Aiden Young, but Tice, Green Devils bouncing off of him, and it looks like a gain of about 14 yards for the Jayhawks. Jayhawks with 2 timeouts. Clock stops. Oh, now clock's moving. Once the ball gets set, the clock's moving. 30 seconds here with 2 timeouts. Jessup taking their time to get up to the line of scrimmage, trying to build some momentum. Here's the snap, run. Tice Larson bounced it outside and met by a wall of Green Devils. And there's a great chance with 5 seconds left, that's going to take us to halftime. And we meet halftime. Osage 32, Jesup 0. If you're my kids at home, Stratton and Royce, please go to bed. So other than that, 15 minutes on the halftime clock. We're going to have Joe Smines come in here in a second, and he's going to talk a little bit about Jessup's success from last year in all of our athletic programs. So once Mr. Smines get up here, we'll talk, and then we'll go from there.
Hey, I just got a shout out that we're supposed to wish Delaney Truig a happy birthday. So happy birthday to Delaney.
Yep.
I don't know who would have sent that message up, but she can thank her dad for that one.
Yep. I was talking to Delaney about it in the weight room today, and I just said, hey, is it a national holiday today? And she's like, what are you talking about? And I said, it's your birthday. And she's like, oh, yeah, it is. So, yeah.
We'll really embarrass her, and we'll have them get it over the loudspeaker here in a little bit.
I thought Joe Smines was going to sing to the whole entire crowd here. We'll see once he comes up here how this goes. Joe Smines stumbling up from the field to come up and talk to me, Mr. Relo, about Jesup Athletics.
Band's getting ready to play out there.
You can see Coach McMartin and staff talking about some of their adjustments as the Fighting Hummels come out, the Jesup marching band.
Zach Knutson needs to get out of the way. Riley Durnan just about mowed him over with the old drum.
Zach was getting the football all the way so nobody tripped.
I think Zach was just working on marching out there. He's a guy that can do it all, so.
I would be interested. I know Mr. Knutson very well, but was he in the marching band in high school?
You know, we'll have to look into that. I could see Zach being a
clarinet.
Yeah,
flute. Yeah, we'll just have to see.
He does kind of look like Elton John, though. I mean, playing the piano or.
I could see that.
Sorry, Zach, if you're offended by that,
No.
but.
And, Al, we talked about multi-sport individuals and people being in extracurriculars. Let's look at some of these Jayhawk football players participating in the marching band here.
Who do we have out there for football players? We got Hosford.
You have Hosford out there. You have...
Is that Tate Youngblood? No.
No. As they're moving here, I could tell you a little bit more. You got a Hosford. Oh my gosh, my eyes aren't what they. Michael Hall Ramsey.
Yep.
Michael Hall Ramsey in the back. And then.
Well, here, Tim, let's look at numbers. That's got to be on the sheet, isn't it?
Yes. What number is that? In the front.
13?
13.
No, that's not crew.
No, that's not crew. Oh, hey.
Is that Oakley Brown? No.
In the front. I need to wear my glasses. And you have worse eyes than me.
Where at? Hosford's one of them.
Yeah. Both Hosfords?
Weber, maybe?
Well, we'll get Mr. Reel and I will get that figured out. We're here with Al, do you want to give him that? Yep, we're here with gotta know the pecking order. We're here with Athletic Director Joe Smines. Joe Smines, 14-year Athletic Director at Jesup Community School District. Joe, thanks for coming up here at halftime. Joe, another great year of athletic success. You know, we talk about 15 strong and how important it is for all of our programs to be united. So, Joe, I have you up here today just to talk a little bit about the success that Jesup Athletics has had in last year and kind of what we can look forward to in the future.
Yeah, it's been a great last few years in a lot of sports. If you go in our South Gym and look up on the wall, there's a ton of banners from a ton of different sports, and that's something we've taken great pride in here, on not being just good at one thing, but being good at as many things as we possibly can. And if you look at last few years of success, we've gone to state in wrestling, basketball, football playoffs, cross country, golf, and a bunch of success in other sports. So it's been a terrific run here, and hopefully we can keep that moving. Adding some new facilities, updating facilities. A lot of great volunteers, a lot of great coaches. It's been a great thing here at Jesup.
So, Joe, talk a little bit. You send out, if I'm looking for, we have such a long list of accolades and success, and you do a really nice job of getting that information out on our Facebook page. Specifically, what Facebook page could we find kind of your yearly write-up that I know you posted it back a couple weeks, months ago, but talk a little bit where you can find some of that information and anything else to go with that.
So we, Facebook, Jesup Athletics, Jesup J-Hawks Athletics, and then the Booster Club as well does a good job of pushing the information out too. So I actually help run both of those pages. So we try to put a lot of information out there, successes that we have in the athletic department, and each of our sports also have some sort of social media presence on Facebook or Instagram, those type of things. So it's something that's grown over the years, and obviously we have coaches come and go sometimes, but those seem to be consistent, and we try to do a good job there. When I started this job 18 years ago at NU High, seems like forever ago, but that stuff wasn't as big. I remember first getting Twitter in 2010, I think. So the landscape has changed a lot, and we have a lot of people that put a lot of hard work into making this product up here, J-Hawks Sports Network, a success. I remember when it started in 2015, and my first year as head basketball coach, and it was actually on the Cube then. So the Cube. I did up with Nate and Luke Baldwin, and my first year coaching. So things have changed a lot with stuff, and it takes a lot of people to get that job done. So we're lucky to have a lot of people that want to put hard work in. Anthony Baugh and Heartland Technology, and my secretary, Erica Bass, who's my third one I've had here. Those people do a lot of. Margie Knipp was my first, Karma Schmidt, now Erica Bass, who's our volleyball coach. So it takes a whole group to get all that stuff out there. But, we have a pretty good thing going here, and we're happy with our kids and happy with our coaches, and we're happy with our fan support.
Coach, you mentioned a little bit about Jessup Booster Club. Next week during homecoming, I told Brock Sabers this, and I haven't talked to Angie, but I'm going to have Angie come up here and talk a little bit about the Booster Club. But talk a little bit about Jessup Booster Club. Yep. You can see this year Jessup has brand new football jerseys, similar style to years past. So talk a little bit what the Jessup Booster Club is and how you can get some information about maybe volunteering or being a part of that.
Sure. Our Booster Club has been outstanding. And when I started here, it was Dave Steuben, who was a former teacher here. Then it went to Kevin McCombs, and then Ricky Nolan was the Booster Club president for several years. And now it's Angie Sabers, who's obviously embedded in this community, a former graduate, has kids in the system. Brock obviously coaches here. And then I did find out that actually her mom and dad were Booster Club president as well back in the early 90s. So I did not know that until she had taken over. But our Booster Club does a great job. It takes a whole community to run our Booster Club. They do all the concession stand work, a lot of fundraisers to help fund athletics, our fine arts, and our after prom. Like you said, our football uniforms are new this year. That runs about typically in the $20,000 range to buy uniforms. Boys basketball has new uniforms this year. That's on a rotation for those of you that are wondering and listening to this. A 5-year rotation for high school and middle school. Actually, 7th and 8th graders on an 8-year rotation. So they pay for all of our uniforms, which is a huge expense. They do a great job. So it takes a lot of people to run the Booster Club. Even if you don't want to be involved in meetings or be a voting member, they still need your help. Concession stands and that type of stuff to be able to fund our athletes and our fine arts and our after prom. So they consolidated that probably about 5-6 years ago, and it's been a great thing.
Yeah, they've done such a great job in my time as coaching and working as part of the Jesup Strength and Conditioning staff. Oh, and I think we're back. I'm not sure what happened there. I'm going to blame Athletic Director Joe Smines for stepping on something. Thankful for Joe Smines to come up here and talk a little bit about Jesup Athletics and the Jesup Booster Club. Next week at halftime, I'm going to see if I can get Angie Sabers up here to talk a little bit more about the Booster Club and just kind of put, not really a name with a face, but just kind of know who Angie is and kind of what you can expect from the Booster Club. Thanks for Joe Smines for coming up here. Getting away from some of his normal duties during the game, which is a lot, checking on the officials, kind of being crowd control, seeing what's going on. We should be good now.
Yeah, he turned the volume off on us.
Oh, he turned the volume off. He didn't know we were in here? No,
What kind of operation we got running here? No, I'm kidding.
No.
That stuff happens.
Yeah. So, yeah, other than that, Joe, the Booster Club does so much for us. They've been so helpful.
Yeah.
Man, it's so fortunate to be able to have those people in positions. And we have some new people on the board from years past, and that's great to get. Super thankful for the people who have spent their time in helping us out and getting younger families in there as well to try to make those, allow them to volunteer and try to make Jesup, as that sign says, when you're coming off of Benson Shady, the right place.
That's right. Yeah, it's, the Booster Club, like I said, you can go to Jesup Booster Club, search it on Google. They have a nice website. You can sign up to volunteer at several different things. Everybody, something that somebody ever can do with every activity, and we're always looking for more people to get involved. It takes a village to get it done, and Sauer has been to a lot of places as a head coach and watching, and myself, and you go to some places that just don't have the amount of support they have from a Booster Club like we do, and it takes all of that to get that done. So, one of the things that I've always enjoyed about our Booster Club is the amount of meal money, and you can talk on this too, Sauer, about the amount of meal money we get when we go to state events. And about 10 years ago, they upped it up to a really healthy amount, and our kids eat well on state events, and that's why we've had so much success, I think, at those events. And compared to other schools that I'm not sure what, they don't get a lot of money to eat, so it makes it hard when you go to Des Moines or wherever the state event's at to be successful. And Booster Club's played a huge role in that, and we're very thankful to have that.
And I've been able to travel. I was part of the track team that's made it down there. I got 1 year of being on the basketball team. To be able to travel and talking to other programs, Coach, just like you mentioned, it's not like that everywhere.
No.
And so we're just super fortunate because, number one, being able to make it down to a state event is huge, but also reward the kids because not all of our kids get the ability to travel. They don't get to eat the spaghetti factory or the cheesecake factory. And so it's I would say a core memory for a lot of our kids being able to go down there and enjoy it and not just eating. Not that anyone just eats peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, but to not just eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches when they're down there.
There's a school to our north that has to fundraise money from people to be able to eat down, eat decent meals down, and we don't have to do that. And our teams do participate in helping concession stands and stuff. What was the burger place that you went to with the kids? What was the name?
Oh, the barbecue place?
No. Zombie Burger.
Zombie Burger.
Yeah, them raising our prices for what we get coincided with you going to Zombie Burger because the amount of money you guys eat there. So how many shakes did you eat?
I got a couple shakes. I don't eat as much as I used to about 10 years ago, but I'm probably the reason why there's a little more money because nothing beats when I went to Smokey D's and I got the nachos and it came out in a pizza pan and it was like 6 inches of nachos and oh boy, that was a lot of food.
Hey, while people are listening, I just want to thank Sauer for doing this. Sauer does a great job for us in strength conditioning and teaching, and former coach, and will coach again. I did say that on public air, so he will coach again when Stratton is old enough. But thanks, Sauer, for doing this and sliding over from color to the play-by-play. That's not easy. And I had a text from somebody and said he's doing an outstanding job. So, and that guy is. I make fun of him a lot, but it well deserved. So thanks for doing this, Sauer.
Oh, I love it. This is how I give back. The way I'm coaching right now is at the YSF, and I can't wait for my youngest to come here in the fall of 26 so I can continue with our excellent rec program. And Brock Sabers and what he's been able to do to get our rec program continuing to strive forward. And, I've learned from Nate Clayberg, who I miss doing this with. And, Coach, you mentioned me sliding over from color to the play-by-play. And it's fun. This is how I give back, and I still get to be a part of it, but kind of a little bit more on my terms.
Who's your next color guy next games?
Yep, next week. So I think I locked down Nick Green for the rest of the year. So Nick Green now officially a resident of Jesup.
I'm sure you guys talked about this, but he's done an outstanding job with our cross program. I mean, great job.
Yep.
I mean, as good as anybody in the Iowa coaching, but former wing T quarterback.
Yeah. Our PE staff, I didn't run the Veer, but I was part of the Veer.
Yep.
You're wing T.
Yep.
Green is wing T.
Yep.
Zook played football at West Delaware.
Yeah, and that was hard-nosed smash mouth. So.
And then Nick Martin is a product of Jesup football,
Yeah.
so I would have to go ask Coach Sullivan what offense they ran. But all of us have, football experience. And, we talked a little bit about, Coach McMartin and I talked on the pregame show a little bit about the success of the boys and girls cross country team. The girls being ranked 7th in the state with Jordan Bergman being ranked 4th in 2A. The boys being ranked 14th in 2A with Will Nesbitt and Vince O'Connor being ranked 4th and 26. Will Nesbitt being ranked 4th and Vince O'Connor being ranked 26. And as we got a little bit more time left, let's talk a little bit about your home tournament, the Jesup girls volleyball tournament here. Our Class 2A ranked 10 Jesup volleyball is going to have our home tournament here. I think Coach Bass and I were talking a little bit, 4 matches, all in the South Gym, starting at 9 o'clock tomorrow.
That is correct. You can tune into Huddle Fan. It'll be on Jesup Huddle Fan page tomorrow, live streaming. You want to watch good volleyball, come watch. We play Wapsie on Tuesday night in our gym, 2 top 10 ranked teams, and I'm telling you what, the NICL volleyball is unbelievably tough. I mean, ridiculously good.
I think I see every week Varsity Bound put something on Facebook that there's 9 teams ranked in the top, and I could be wrong. There could be more.
And that's just in 2A, and GR is ranked in 1A, and the teams that aren't ranked, and we've been in that mode before, are really solid teams. So our volleyball program is really fun to watch. So.
Yeah, and some other positive with the volleyball team. Sarah Mead reaching 500 digs this last couple of weeks, 7th all-time in Jesup history. Followed behind that, Morgan Crawl at 693, which is 3rd all-time. Sarah is part of the 500 club with 500 kills and 500 digs in her career. She's currently at 4th with 576. So come out and watch at our home volleyball tournament starting at 9 o'clock tomorrow.
Now we got Mr. Relo back. Legend.
Thank you.
I got to clarify. Zach Knudsen played the piccolo.
Oh, the piccolo. Yeah. That's nice.
In case wondering, Alex Relo will be coaching middle school girls wrestling second semester. In case you're wondering out there, we are having middle school wrestling at Jesup. And Mr. Relo came out of retirement again for the 3rd time to coach. So
that's awesome.
We're lucky to have him, even though he's from Osage.
Yes.
Thanks, Sauer. Thanks, Relo.
Yeah, thanks, Mines, for all that information. Looking for third quarter kickoff with Dalton kicking from south to north here. And it looks like single back returner with Aiden Youngblood as a return man. Let's see what the Jayhawks can get going here.
I was getting harassed by Gavin Muller's dad down at the concession stand, so he used to work with my dad up at the elevator. So
I've heard about the elevator a couple times from you. Jayhawks getting the ball about the 30-yard line. Nope, that's part of it. So if you were tuning in last year, we don't have a camera in here this year. Maybe Ba and I can work on that. But right now we turned off the lights and we have our little flashlights that we connect to our speakers, so it doesn't. So it's a little bit easier to see on the field here. Jayhawks 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line. 2 receivers set to the Jayhawks sideline. Anticipated pressure. 2 pullers and the read, and nope, he was down. And Tice Larson tackled for what looks to be a 4-yard loss. Looks like right there you're seeing some type of counter action coming from the Jayhawks. A little misdirection. One of the tricky things, Al, when I was a coach, I was a big zone guy, zone run game, and the misdirection, and especially in high school ball, you saw it earlier with the inside handoff from Osage. The ability to have that misdirection is a very powerful tool if used correctly. 2nd down and 15 from the 25-yard line. Jayhawks Reeves back to pass, pressure, Osage Devils in the face, and sacked. Big play there for the Green Devils. And was tackled. Refs called the whistle early. Can always appreciate that to protect that. And it looked like a sack by...
Looked like a Machen, wasn't it, again?
From Machen. Machen on the season before the game, 11 tackles, 8 solo for 2 tackles for loss, and you can add to his stats. From our guys on the field, looking at some halftime stats, we're looking at... We'll get back to some of the halftime stats here in a second. Empty set. Pump fake. Ooh, a little screen play trying to get, some of the Green Devils upfield, and it's swallowed up by the Green Devils.
Looked like that had a chance to do something, and they just collapsed on the ball.
Yep, just try to give them that false sense of running upfield and trying to get to the second level. And Jayhawks looking at a 4th and 24. Some halftime stats. Osage, 23 rushes for 198 yards. 10 for 15 in passing, 202 passing yards to the air with 38 plays ran and 400 total yards at halftime. Your Jayhawks, 18 rushes for 67 yards, 3 for 9 for passing, and 28 plays for 74 yards. High booming punt from Aiden Youngblood, retrieved at the 46-yard line. It's going to be a block in the back. It's going to be coming back. Christensen with the return and scampered up to the 35-yard line.
Was that a block in the back, Tim, or did you throw down a marker?
Oh, yeah. Hey, good call, Mr.
I
Reels.
don't think that was a flag.
Nope, that's my bad. So, yep. That little white beanbag you saw is where the ball was first touched by Osage. So it wasn't a flag. Sorry for getting your hopes up. Now Osage taking over. 1st and 10 at the 35-yard line, short field, and that's always such a tough thing. Coming out, going 3 and out, and then turning it over. Motion from Dodd outside, and just on the out streets of junior Gavin Bell, pushed out of bounds for a gain of about 4 yards. Nice little motion play to try to get out into the open space, the outer space by the numbers. And very fortunate Bell was able to push him out of bounds, or that had potential for a little bit bigger gain. Osage 2nd and 6. Within probably the last hour, this is the slowest we've seen Osage break the huddle and get up to the field, get up to the line of scrimmage. They've really been focusing on the tempo here. Trip set into the sideline. Streets drops back, steps up, doesn't like what he sees, and there's nothing but green. But he waits and he looks. Oh, an incomplete pass broken up by a slew of Jayhawks.
He had about 20 yards ahead of him that he could have just taken.
And you know what? As a coach, not coaching up both sides here, you know, I think earlier we would have seen Streets just take off and run, and, you know, the nearest Jayhawk was within 15 yards. And I think, you know, always running or escaping the pocket isn't something that's going to always have success, but that's great to see that type of progression. Like, hey, I'm not going to run past the line of scrimmage and throw it. I'm going to try to read my keys and be able to execute the plays that are being called. All right, 2-by-2 set here from the Green Devils. 3rd and 6 on the 31-yard line. Rugby toss to the outside. Braxton Cavalier gets a hand on and then tackled. Tackled by Max DeVore. Started by Max DeVore and a couple other Jayhawks coming out there to help secure the tackle. With the Green Devils, 4th down and 6 at the 31-yard line. The wind took that from me. All right, 4th and 2 from the 27, excuse me. Great chance. Had a slow start on offense to start off the third quarter. Let's see if the Jayhawks can bow their backs here. 2 receivers set. I expect a quarterback run here from Streets. Rolls out. Look from the curl route right there from the outside, and just on the outstretched hands of Cooper Street. So you're looking from a street-to-street connection, but they couldn't get paired up. So
as a brother, you'll let him hear about that one.
they won't, yeah, on the bus ride home, at supper and breakfast the next day. And I'm sure you've got some siblings, and there's some still stuff you probably don't let them live down.
My older sister's definitely tougher than I am. She's tough.
She's tough. All right, Jessup 1st and 10 on the 27-yard line.
got to stopping the Osage defense, Osage offense. Jesup trip set to the Green Devils sideline. See what Cade Reese can get going here. Handoff, Reed looking on the outside, and just met by a wall of Green Devils. One thing I just saw right there is see Drew Munson and Andrew Devlin taking a defensive lineman for the Green Devils and
15 yards downfield.
And that's great to see in the battle and the fight. The only problem is it was for no gain. Jesup still trying to establish a run, down by 32, 8:50 left in the third quarter. Two-man set to the Osage sideline. Here's the snap, quarterback run. He has some room, bouncing off some Green Devils and stuffed for about a 3-yard gain. And you see some laundry on the field, Al. What do you think that could be?
That was definitely a late hit on, who was that?
I didn't see the number, but it was, you saw someone go flying for Jesup, and we'll see here. Dead ball. Personal foul on the Osage Green Devils. So that's going to be a first down for the Jayhawks.
You know, that's just kind of a stupid penalty. You're up by 32 and you go and do something like that.
And it's tough because without looking super in depth right now with some of the Green Devils on the field, I'm sure you're rotating some people in when you're up by 30, and everyone's fighting. Everyone wants that chance to play underneath the Friday lights, and that's tough because now you're looking at 3rd and 10, and now it's a first down for the Jayhawks. Jayhawks, two-man set to our sideline. Rees with the snap, drops back, pressure coming in his grill, steps up, and just on the outset hands of sophomore Gavin Cherry, and Rees knows he wants that back. From the looks, it looks like Gavin ran a really nice route, and that ball just, I don't know if someone caught his finger at the end, or it was, just a little bit at the defensive line, but, just a little wobbly pass there.
You get that ball caught. That was a 20-yard gain there.
Yeah, and maybe more. I know Gavin Cherry's got a
room in front of him.
Yeah, he had some daylight, and it would have been a really great momentum start coming in here to the third quarter with 8:16 left. 2nd and 10 for your Jayhawks. Motion shown by Haggerty. Run up the field from Tice Larson, and a tough fought 3 yards. That Jesup moving crew, we're getting a little bit more of a groove. With, you've got Drew Munson up front, Wyatt Schroeder, Braxton Cavalier, Aiden Gantz Rogers, who I call AGR, and then Andrew Devlin. It's some hard fought yards up front, but we're just trying to be consistent up front and trying to make a dent here with 3rd and 7 on the 48-yard line coming up.
So, Tim, last week and the week before we saw Haggerty in there at quarterback. Is he okay, or? Yeah,
so, when run by Rees looking upfield, tackled at his feet, still fighting forward, and you're looking at a 4th and 2. Coach Reel, you look, being a coach before, and you look at, your rotations, and you look at the people you have on your squad, and sometimes you got to look and say, hey, what's the best way to make everything mesh? And I've had Haggerty in class, and he's a hardworking kid, just, kind of nose to the grindstone, and to be able to have that flexibility of moving people around and trying some different things in offense, maybe have a jump start here for the Jayhawks. So we're 4th and 1 on the 46-yard line with 6:54 left to go. Pressure being assumed here by the Osage. Oh, and a fall! He was in the neutral zone. Once again, Jesup using that cadence as an advantage, and that's going to be offsides from the Green Devils. And that's great, Al. Usually, you've seen it before. You've coached middle school football. You try to use that as a weapon, and sometimes that ends up backfiring on you. First and 10 on the 41-yard line, 6:46 left on the clock in the third quarter. Jayhawks coming out with a 2-receiver set on the Osage sideline. Here's the snap. Quarterback run. And Rees, another hard-fought 1, maybe 2 yards, tripped up in the middle from number 73 from Osage, another Moeller.
So, Tim, we've been talking about Jessup's middle school football program. Who is coaching the middle school right now?
Who's coaching the middle school right now? You got Devin Kiesling down there at the middle school. I know Coach Patterson, who's a St. Ansgar alum, is someone who used to coach at the middle school and is now up at the high school.
We don't say that swear word.
Sorry.
Osage, St. Ansgar's not something we want to talk about.
All right, run by the Jayhawks. Reed from Reeves, he pulls, he goes upfield, still fighting, and another hard-fought 2 yards. That's one thing Coach McMartin and I were talking about, I think, scrimmage week. We're talking about what he's seen with his staff, people going from middle school to high school to middle school, and, everyone's flexibility with their work schedule and coming up to help. And, as a coach, your ability to lean on some of those other people or what helps build your program 7th through 12th grade.
Even looking down at the YSF and, the flag football, we've got a lot of kids that are, playing football. So
Yep. That's awesome. Pass from Reeves, 3rd and short. Catch, curl concept, fighting for yards from Gavin Cherry. It's been great to see, with Reeves' first start out here, Gavin Cherry kind of being a little bit sophomore, being a little bit of security blanket out there for Reeves as he's going through his progression. And clock's running here. It looks like a 4th and 2 situation for the Jayhawks at the 33-yard line.
Tim, I've seen Cade throw to Cherry a couple times, and he's right on and every single time. And if they can make those connections, that's a plus for the Jayhawks.
I think with our passing game, there's been a lot of great short concepts, and what's really good to see in the passing game is when you see, oh boy. Talk about the passing game, the intermediate passing game, the long-distance passing game is something that, every high school can work on. And what you just saw there, you saw a little motion from our H trying to go across, and the running back do it at the same time, and the ball was snapped. So you're going to see a penalty here on the Jayhawks. A legal shift from the Jayhawks, which is declined, and that's going to be 1st down Osage. I could see where they were going with that. You're motioning, I think it was Haggerty across, you're flipping Tice, and it looked like you were trying to run some type of quarterback ISO there in order to try to match numbers in the box. So tough break for Jessup as they turn the ball over, and it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Green Devils on their 35-yard line. Three receiver set to Osage's sideline. Handoff to Trees. Bounces off a Jayhawk. And then wrapped up and tackled by Aiden Youngblood. Great tackle by Aiden. Al, you were talking about before, you need to have someone turn the ball in. We talked about that. That's called a force player. And then if you do things correct defensively, you're going to end up seeing you have your spill, you have your force, and you have an alley player. And the alley player is someone who runs right down between the force and the spill, and that's where you saw Aiden Youngblood with the tackle. 1st and 10 for the Green Devils, 46-yard line. Tight set, handoff, Trees, bounces out, slipped up, and
looks like a flag flew.
Looks like a flag. That's always tough. When you see it bounce outside, it's either going to be holding or some type of face mask penalty, potentially. Obviously on the far side, a little bit harder to see. Holding on the Green Devils. And that's going to be, we'll see where they go with it. Be a spot foul. And Coach McMartin says back him up.
So, Tim, your opinion, how's the field look tonight?
Field looks great, man. I mean, I don't know if you know who Kevin West and Joe Gable are, but the time they spend on putting out this stuff, they have the turf tank that paints the field, cutting, mowing. Man, this is just such a beautiful field that we have, and it's kept up by a tremendous maintenance crew that we have. And we got some of the best in the business, in my opinion. I know you work a little bit more closely with Gable and West, and man, you want to talk about overworked and underappreciated people. I think those two really take the cake.
Yeah, I think they were out there touching up the numbers this morning. I don't know if they had a paintbrush out there or what they were doing, but god dang, they were making it look good. Gable was out there on the lawnmower, and I think he had his scissors in the other hand, just getting her all perfect for the night.
Using a paint by color set, one of those super thin brushes. run that didn't go anywhere for the Osage Green Devils. 2nd and 20 on the 36-yard line with 3 minutes and 15 seconds left. Speed option looking from the right. Toss out to Brock Trees and a hard-fought run to get the Green Devils. 3rd and 12-ish looks like coming up. You know, I think I saw Weston Gable out here every single day, painting, making sure everything looked super nice, and you can tell they take a lot of pride in this field and how it looks. Just kind of, you know, Coach Schmeins was talking a lot about how we have a lot of people have pride in this school and in our facilities and being here and doing the work, and I think those two really kind of tip of the cap, wave of the finger at them. 3rd and 10, 2.5 minutes left from the 45-yard line. Streets drop the pass, steps up in the pocket. Oh, I think it hit the ground. Hit the ground. Pass intended for Griffin Eulenhop. And the refs are going to say it was a catch. Must have got his hands right underneath. Nice pitch and catch from Streets to Eulenhop. And once again, I would say another big play for the Green Devils as they capitalize and get a first down and continue to run this clock. For those of you following at home, once the point differential gets greater than 35, the clock starts to become running. Chris Streets, fake handoff to Brock Trees. Streets escapes the rush and running and diving for another big run, looking at another 14-yard gain. And the Green Devils picking up where they left off in the second quarter, moving the ball with some somewhat ease right now. And man, you know, we talked about this earlier with these guys playing so many snaps. It starts to wear on you. You're playing 80, 90 snaps, and I know the clock it's been a lot of rushing right now, but we need a big play here from the Jayhawks. Trees flips to the other side. Streets drops back. Good rush up the middle. Trees escapes, goes out to the outside, tries to flip the field to the other side. Scramble rules in effect for Osage. Streets doesn't like what he sees, and he runs forward for about 8 yards.
Reed Barco just had him slip away. He looked like he was in good position, but just lost his footing there.
Yeah, Reed Barco, you want to talk about a weight room warrior, a kid that just works his tail off, literally a Boy Scout. You know, you talk about how good kids are. Yes, sir, no, sir. I'm going to work super hard, and he's one of these kids that you'd hang your hat on and just say, man, I'm proud to have him on my team and in my class. 2nd and 2 for Osage on the 12-yard line. 2 receiver set, handoff. Dodd with the ball bounces like a pinball in between the tackles and falling forward for what looks like another substantial gain. Tackle by Braxton Cavalier. About 75 seconds left in the third quarter. A little tempo here shown by Osage. 2 receivers set, split on both sides. Handoff, fake to Trees, and Streets gets in for a touchdown. Man, that's, you know, one thing they talk about playing the offensive line. When you have the ability, you have the momentum, and you're able to lean on people, it's so tough. It's so tough, especially with your ability to come out here and kind of move people from A to B from the offensive line onto the defensive line. You know, it's some tough sledding here. We are at a 38-point differential. Osage is going to try to make it 39 here. So the clock will be running as we get back to a normal play here. Number 7, the holder, Tate Tabbert, whose name we haven't said a whole bunch. And Dalton with the kick in the upright and is good. So Dalton redeems himself from his missed PAT earlier and should now be, I believe, 7 for 9 on the year.
You know, Tim, as a coach, you look at your quarterbacks and, you know, Street on the other side, he's a senior, and we've got, you know, a sophomore in Cade Reese, and Eli Haggerty is a junior. You know, that experience says a lot for your quarterback, and if you can get more experience out of them, it's going to be a lot easier for them.
In my tenure as head coach, I had the privilege of coaching Jace Pilcher at quarterback, who we started out as sophomore. And I'm talking about just sophomore quarterbacks, and Ryan Treptow. And it's hard. You get out there as a sophomore, you know, you're still kind of figuring out high school here and there. Your body's still developing, and it can be a lot. I mean, unless you see the game in like the ones and zeros like Treptow did as a sophomore. It's just really tough, but there's some obstacles and some road bumps learning as a sophomore playing under Friday night lights, and usually playing guys earlier, and they'll take their bumps and bruises, but they can learn a lot. Looks like Dalton with another big kick going from south to north. Returned by Tice Larson. Looking for a gap. Sidesteps a Green Devil. Bounces off 1, 2, 3, 4. And tackled at the 35-yard line. And Jayhawks take the ball over with 50 seconds left. Normally a change of possession, the clock wouldn't start, but with that point differential, the clock is currently running. 1st and 10 for Jessup at the 35-yard line. Jessup walking up to the line of scrimmage, trying to get a play off here. Looks like Osage still mixing around their defensive line. Quarterback run, up the middle. Jessup moving crew, trying to move some bodies, and not much of a gain up front. We've got about 17 seconds here. It's going to be interesting to see if Jessup gets a play. In between the 3rd and 4th quarter here, we'll have my color commentator, Alex Reel. He'll talk a little bit about his shop and kind of the new addition. Get on it. Oh.
I don't know what happened there.
I think there's just a miscommunication between if we're going to try to run a play or let it go. And
that could have turned bad.
Yeah. All right, looks like we're going to change the quarter. I'm not sure if there's a penalty in force. Al, let's talk a little bit. I don't know if we can get Mr. Clark to kind of pan over to the new addition. Alex, talk a little bit about the new building and some of the things. With you don't have to go into and talk about the auditorium. We can get other people up here to talk about that. But talk a little bit about the new building that Jesup has fully opened up this year.
Yeah, so straight across you can see the black part, and then there's the tall building behind it. That's the auditorium. We obviously have been through some changes with the shop program.
Yep.
We used to have the old building that was not connected to the school that the kids would have to sometimes go through 8 to 10 inches of standing water that would be flowing when it would be raining, or walking across there in the ice. But we have made some big improvements, built a whole brand new wood shop, metal shop with actual dust collection and ventilation, and it's awesome for the kids. We spent 2 years out in the bus barn hosting class, but now we're moved in and the kids are starting projects right away. So with this, we've been able to, kind of change up some of our offerings and offer a small engines class, woodworking, metalworking, machining, and just some different classes. So pretty exciting time for the kids here at Jesup, and it's exciting to see that we're still
being progressive,
spending money on the trades. So
yep.
A lot of schools have gone away from that, and Jesup is one of those towns that supports that. So that was all voter. We had to get it voted in, and it was a big deal. So yeah, it's awesome. If anybody ever wants a tour, just get a hold of us or just stop in, and we can show them around. But it's a pretty awesome facility, and the band and vocal they can talk about their own. I don't know much about the nuts and bolts of that, but it looks cool. So
yeah, the auditorium, the choir band room, the ag room, Mr. Relo's set up just well deserved, and Mr. Relo and I came in together here at Jesup, being both of us starting year 13, and just great opportunities for our kids and our community and our school, investing in the kids and giving them those opportunities. We're stopping here for a measurement. Past 2 plays looked like we had some low snaps, and that's creating that's making Rees try to be creative in the backfield. You saw a little scamper there to try to get Rees. We're 3rd and 1. We got an official measurement here to see if it's going to be a first down. And that's a Jayhawk first down. So something to build off of here. Now, on the official measurement, the clock did stop. Once the ball gets placed, the clock will continue to run with that point differential. Osage 39, Jesup 0 with 10 minutes and 39 seconds left. Two receiver set to the Osage sideline. Rees gets a snap, handoff, nice hard run, and then tackled. A swarm of Green Devils ended up tackled by, it was either Tice or Bradley as the running back. Jesup looking 2nd and 11 here at the 46-yard line with just at 10 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. Going south to north here, looking into the wind here for the Jesup offense. 2-by-2 set split with Tice on the Jesup sideline. Rees, drop back pass, looks, throws an absolute dart, aimed for Aiden Youngblood, and intercepted. I think that's 9. I think that's Captain Sage Christensen again. Sage coming into the game with 1 interception. I believe he's had 2 today. Great pass by Rees. That was a great step up into the pocket, just a little off target. And that's tough. That's just a tough sledding for the Jayhawks who've had some difficulties moving the ball. They've moved the ball, and then they've kind of sputtered a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see with under 9.5 minutes left to go what the Osage Green Devils can do. Handoff, Moeller bounces off of Jesup, keeps fighting to the outside, and 3-4 Jayhawks pushes Moeller out to the sideline. You know, Al, you've coached middle school football, and sometimes it's gone super well, sometimes it's been close games, sometimes it's gone the way you don't want it to go. As guys are coming on and off the sideline right now, what's the message that you're trying to tell some of these Jayhawks?
You just got to tell them, like, yeah, we're off a little bit right now. So, how do you get them back in, get those younger kids out there, and hopefully they can step up and make a play and get them, experienced and enthused.
Yep. And a big run by Quinn Streets there. You could see, it looks like Eli Haggerty had a really good chance and slipped up, and then Streets had a chance to break another big play, and it looks like he went down at the 1 yard, slid at the 1 yard line. Clock's running here. 1st and goal at the 1 yard line. When this ball snapped, it's going to be right under 8 minutes. Streets under center. I formation. Here's a snap. Handoff. And touchdown Osage. And that's tough. A big run like that, coming down at the 1, setting it up for another rushing touchdown. And as this clock continues to click down for the Jayhawks with, yes, it stops. It stops at a score, change of possession here. There's some things you can go back and you can look at the scoreboard and you can watch the film and see what you did well. And right now, as Coach McMartin said, if we can handle their big plays, it's going to put us in a position to be successful. Dalton, snap, kick, blocked, line of scrimmage. And the kick is no good for Dalton and the Osage Green Devils. And, Al, you talked about this already, but, just right now it's the little things. It's coming off hard on the PAT field goals. It's blocking to the whistle. It's squeeze it if you're a wide receiver on the offense. And it's
as a player, though, that's hard to hear.
Yep.
You see the scoreboard, and your coach tells you, "Hey, look at the little things." Well,
right.
You know what? If as a football player, I'm looking at my coach and saying, "You know what? You can go fly a kite," because I'm a little hot about this. So it's tough as a ball player,
yep.
And as a coach trying to keep them positive, but it's something you have to move through.
I've been in this position several times, and you go out and say, hey, keep fighting, and it's like, okay, coach, like you said that 1 quarter ago, and, it's as this ball kicks off here, it'll continue to be running clock as Osage is up 45-0 on your Jayhawks. We're going to see Dalton kick it here again. You see two returners back there. You still see Aiden Youngblood and Tice Larson back for the kickoff return. Dalton kicking from the 40-yard line. Big kick north to south. Aiden backs up a little bit, takes it at the 6-yard line. A lot of white coming down, a lot of white jerseys coming down, and it looks like Aiden slipped up a little bit and was met by several Green Devils. Jessup's offense goes back out there on the field. Jessup being 5 for 12 on passing, 41 total plays for almost 100 yards. Jessup 1st and 10 on the 19-yard line. Handoff, Tice Larson looks to bounce it outside, and there was nothing but Green Devils ready to go. And that's tough. So in my career, I've been able to coach a lot of different positions, and it's really hard for the running back when things start getting clouded up, or the first, second, and third quarter, you don't have your running lanes, and you try to make something out of nothing, getting to the sideline, and that just becomes really different, Al. Just really difficult to be able to run your base plays. And right now, if I'm Coach McMartin telling my guys we got to get back to our basics and try to build some momentum next week into Waterloo Columbus. Handoff from the Jayhawks. Tice ping-ponging around there and tackled for maybe one or two yards.
So next week we have Waterloo Columbus coming up, followed by Union. That's at Union.
Correct.
Next week are we home against Columbus?
Yep, for homecoming, you bet.
Yep. Followed by AP. Again, another home game. Then we go to Sumner, Fredericksburg, and then followed by Hudson at home again.
Yep,
so
for the end of the season, regular season finale versus Hudson, who we've had, I think over the last 13 years of me being around the program, we've probably played 9 different times. So that's a great rivalry for us to see here, and a good little quarterback run here by the Jayhawks, and to get us to about a 4th and 9. Coming up here next week, Osage will Osage will play at home, I believe, against North Fayette Valley, and then they travel to New Hampton, home against Waukon, at Crestwood, and then play against Forest City. Sorry if I have the home and ways wrong on that, but that's what their schedule looks like. High snap for the punt, met by some Green Devils. Aiden had to rush that kick with the high snap, and it takes an unfavorable bounce right to the 41-yard line, and it looks like a punt of about 18 yards, net 18 yards. So that, the second half, Al, I've seen a couple things. I've seen some low snaps, some high snaps. You're talking about punt, and you're talking about offense. Talk about how you might be able to clean up some of those little things. And I know you got guys that are tired, and I know you got guys playing a lot of snaps. So how do you clean up some of those little things, and how do you think you address that in the film room next week?
Just looking at it, I think the kids are a little bit down right now. They see the score, and, when you're down, then you start making mistakes.
Yep.
So, it's just kind of a cause and effect type of thing. But, you gotta be able to make those plays. You got to be able to, make those snaps and just have everything be clean. And the more you do it, the more you're going to clean that up. So.
And run from Osage, and it looks like we have a change at quarterback. Chris Streets is out of the game, and number 7 at quarterback is Tate Tabert, Jr., 5'10", 170 pounds for Osage. And it looks like some other guys getting in from Osage right now as the clock ticks down under 4 minutes. 45, Osage 45, Jesup 0, 2nd and 9 from the 40-yard line. And Al, I think, some of these teams we played so far in non-district play as the Jayhawks wrap up non-district play against Osage is when you have a lead that's fairly comfortable, and I know Osage has been able to live like this, Dyke has, you get some valuable reps for some of those younger kids in the program.
Yeah, and those are reps that everybody needs. So yeah, we got somebody down.
We got an injured Jayhawk down on the field. Manila, Jessup's athletic trainer from Summit Chiropractic and Physical Therapy. Just an excellent excellent opportunity that we have here at Jessup from our athletic training staff. We get different UNI students in, and I can't say more about Summit Chiropractic and what they've been able to do for Jessup athletics. And I see, Manila's office is right down by the PE office, and being able to work with her and her staff, and all the great stuff that they've done for Jessup and provide for our athletes. And
Eli Haggerty, it looked like he had a cramp or something. I went to school for a lot of years. I'm not quite a doctor, but
it looks like you could see that as soon as that leg goes up and the toe points, you could see a little bit of cramping. But great to see Haggerty get off the field and on his own power, and maybe get checked out by our athletic training staff. But
Tim, looking at her sideline right now, you see one person that is injured right now, and that's Wyatt Renner, broken collarbone. So, that's good to see starting off your regular season. Fairly healthy.
Yeah, the injury report with that upper body injury from Renner, it's great to see. Not a huge list, especially coming off a tough game last week against Vinton Schellsburg, and Dyke, who has a lot of power. Really good run by Tate Tabbert here as he's slicing and dicing and getting downfield, and just another Osage first down. Yeah, it's just, you can, especially with younger guys on the team and asking a lot more from your sophomores to play. Usually with those younger, less physically mature athletes, you see sometimes just a little bit more injuries just because you're going against 17 and 18-year-olds versus having 15 and 16-year-olds out there. And, so far, there's some bumps and bruises, that's going to come throughout the season, but relatively, Jessup's been relatively healthy so far this season.
You look at some of the training that they've been doing, too. I mean, consistently seeing 100 and some odd kids in the weight room, that definitely helps with those injuries as well.
Oh, yeah. So, you were talking a little bit about this before. We talked about the Jack. The Jack is over 10 years old. This is our This is our third year of having our zero period lifting that goes from 6:30 to 7:30. We have over 100 kids in the class that come in different days. This is the first year of having two classes during the day. We have one class first period that has over 20 kids, and we got a 6-period class that has about 20 kids. And one thing that I can really hang my hat on, or Jessup Athletics can, is our consistency that we provide those opportunities for our kids to lift. And a touchdown for the Osage Green Devils, scored by number 10, Jacob Vance, 5'8" senior, 160 pounds. But yeah, Al, that's one thing Coach McMartin and I, we've talked about in the weight room. Kind of our philosophy is we want to offer the opportunity, and there's a lot of opportunities during the summer. There's opportunities during the school year, 9 months. We want to provide those opportunities in the morning and during the day. And I work really closely with a lot of our middle school programs, and our middle school kids get in there once, if not twice a week during their seasons. And so offering that opportunity and consistency, and one of Coach McMartin's big things is training together, and we can all train together, and we do it day after day after day, and we give a lot of the same effort. It's going to provide those opportunities for our kids and have the impact on our athletes physically, be able to keep them healthy, and hopefully allow them to have success in their respective sport. We have 1 minute and 22 seconds left. Osage 51, Jesup 0. Once we get the kick here and the ball gets placed, I envision maybe another 3-4 plays. Both teams do have 3 timeouts. We'll see what Jesup does here to try to keep the ball moving. See if there's a couple plays to build off, something to take us into, as Mr. Relo was talking about earlier, as we have homecoming against Columbus Catholic. Not quite sure. If I was better at my research, I could tell you who they were playing tonight, but I didn't get that far in my deep dive.
Yeah, it's crazy. Already 3 weeks into school, and homecoming is here next week. It's one of those times a year where it seems like it hits us, and it hits us fast. So.
And the crazy thing, Al, is we're going to be in Game 4 next week.
Right.
And that's almost half the season. Count the scrimmage kickoff from Dalton deep. Tyson Aiden in the back. Tice takes it at the 6. Tice looking for some room. Tries to evade 1 tackler, 2, 3, and he's met by 3 to 4 different Green Devils to secure the tackle. Clock's running here. Just probably as they get the ball snapped, there'll be about a minute left.
So, Tim, what do we have going on this weekend for sports? We have Jesup volleyball tournament tomorrow.
Yep. We got Jessup's home volleyball tournament, 4 matches in the South Gym, starting at 9 o'clock. And then that's what I know what's going on this week. Coach Bass, who is a Wapsie alum, gets to travel to Fairbank to take the Jayhawk volleyball team to her alma mater, and those are 2 top 10 ranked teams, so that's going to be super exciting to see 2 powerhouse volleyball teams go at it. So
looking at the schedule, we've got 9 NICL teams that are rated in the top 10.
Isn't that wild?
Wow.
With 10 seconds left here on the game clock, looks like the Jayhawks are going to run one more final play, and it's going to be, an RPO. And it looks like we're just a little off on that, and it looks like the clock is going to hit 0 with Osage winning 51-0. Al, Relo, and I have already talked about the opponents for next week. So thank you all. If you're still listening, I appreciate it. This is from the Jayhawk Sports Network, presented by Heartland Technology. If you have not done so yet, we invite you to join us on Facebook or on Twitter at JayhawkSN, or as well as jayhawksn.com. I'd just like to give a huge shout out to our crew here. For Alex Relo and our entire crew, our on-site producer Anthony Baugh, camera operator Eric Clark. I'm Coach Tim Sauer from the Hawks Nest at Jesup Community School District. To watch this game on replay as well as other previous Jesup High School athletic events, go to the video section on our Facebook page. This is Jesup Sports Network from Heartland Technology with music courtesy of bensound.com. Great day to be a Jayhawk. Great time to be a Jayhawk. Homecoming next week. We'll see you next week. Alex, thank you for spending this time with me. It's been a pleasure. I think I'd give your rating of this B+, A-. I'll see as I continue to do this in the future. Mr. Green's up here with me next week. I'll see if I can get a mix of you two up here, and I enjoyed it.
Cross-country coach to announce football.
He's a wing T guy.
Wing T.
So, Alex, it's a long drive home for you. So enjoy the drive, and Jayhawks, we're out.
Thanks for having me.